Bonjour, mes amis, and welcome to a journey through time with our favorite characters from the iconic series Allo Allo. It's been 42 years since we first entered the whimsical world of Rene Artois and his escapades in occupied France during World War II. So, grab your berets and baguettes as we embark on this nostalgic adventure to discover what the cast of Allo Allo has been up to since bidding au revoir to the small screen. Don't touch that dial, mes amis, because you won't want to miss a single moment of this unforgettable reunion. Richard Marner as Colonel Kurt von Strom, the dishonest German town commandant. He keeps himself busy by concealing valuable local paintings and antiques, which he plans to sell after the conflict. He frequents the cafe, where the waitresses entertain him greatly. He always coerces Rene into carrying out his nefarious tasks, menacing him with the threat, "Otherwise I will have you executed." With Captain Hans Geering concurring in a high-pitched voice, "He would. He has done it previously." One of Marner's early theatrical roles, portraying Dracula alongside Howard Dean, is still regarded by some as the ultimate portrayal of the character. In 1967, long before his stint as the German colonel in Allo Allo, Marner played a minor and uncredited role as a German guard in the iconic war film The Dirty Dozen. In 1991, during the tenure of the President of Russia, Boris Yeltsin, who called for a Congress of Compatriots, a gesture towards some of the post-1917 white Russian diaspora, Marner was among the 600 individuals who returned to their homeland. Despite being caught up in an attempted uprising, he remained there long enough to witness, with tear-filled eyes, the hoisting of the first Imperial Russian flag flown in Moscow since 1917. Marner was proficient in Russian, English, French, and German. Marner wedded Pauline Farr in London in 1947. In 1958, the couple welcomed a daughter. Initially retiring to Kentford near Newmarket in Suffolk, they later relocated to a cottage in Perthshire in 2003. Marner passed away on 18th of March 2004 in Perth, Scotland, at the age of 82. Farr passed away on 21st May 2009, aged 91. Carmen Silvera as Edith Artois, Rene's spouse, and the cafe's in-house cabaret entertainer. However, her singing is so dreadful and off-key that the cafe's patrons resort to inserting cheese in their ears to drown out the cacophony. While Rene regards her with contempt, she also garners romantic attention from the local funeral director, Monsieur Alphonse, and the Italian captain, Alberto Bertorelli. Silvera initially gained prominence as a television performer in the 1960s British police drama Z-Cars in 1962, subsequently portraying Camilla Hope in the BBC soap opera Compact from 1964 to 1965. She depicted Mrs. Van Schuyler in Lily in 1978, ITV's dramatization series about the future Edward Seven's lover, Lily Langtry. Silvera developed a passion for horse racing after attending a race at Warwick with her grandfather. She placed a winning wager on Light of Love at the event, which had odds of 7-1. In Coventry in 1949, Silvera wed John Cunliffe, an actor she had encountered at the Repertory Theatre in Tonbridge, Kent, in 1941. She divorced following a trial separation and never remarried. A dedicated smoker, she succumbed to lung cancer on August 3, 2002, at the age of 80, at the Denville Hall Retirement Facility for Actors. Her father, Roland Silvera, 1895-1986, who was born in Jamaica, was a renowned flat green bowls player and a member of Stoke Bowling Club Coventry. After immigrating to Canada in 1910 and serving as a deckhand, Roland enlisted in the Canadian Expeditionary Force during World War I. Gordon Kay as Rene Artois, the nearby bistro proprietor who, while attempting to maintain neutrality, has been drawn into the conflict by both factions. The Germans are issuing threats of execution if he refuses to covertly conceal stolen treasures. The resistance is utilizing his bistro as a refuge for downed British aviators, and in addition to all that, he is striving to keep his fervent romantic liaisons with the bistro servers concealed from his spouse. Kay had previously participated in a radio production directed by Alan Ayckbourn and also in a television drama originating from Manchester. Ayckbourn proposed that he try out for the Bolton Octagon Theatre. He received an offer and performed various roles there, including Pish Chick in The Cherry Orchard, followed by parts in The Homecoming, The Imaginary Invalid, Luther, and a double feature of Oedipus and Cyclops. Kay's memoir, Rene and Me, an autobiography, was released in 1989. In the autobiography, he recounted his encounters as a reserved, homosexual, overweight, typecast juvenile. The unconventional spelling of his name resulted from an error by the British Actors Equity Association. Kay endured severe, life-threatening cranial injuries in an automobile collision while driving his Honda CRX during the Burnsday storm in London on January 25, 1990. Although he had no recollection of the incident, he bore a scar on his forehead from a fragment of wooden advertising hoarding that had shattered through the car windshield. He was rescued by law enforcement and transported to Charing Cross Hospital. Kay grappled with dementia and spent his final 2 years in a residential care facility in Knaresborough, where he passed away on 23rd of January 2017 at the age of 75. His funeral took place at Huddersfield Parish Church on 17th of February. His colleagues from Allo Allo, Vicky Michelle, Sue Hodge, and Kim Hartman were in attendance, along with Ken Morley, who delivered a eulogy. The unofficial anthem of Yorkshire, On Ilkla Moor Bot At, was sung during the service. Guy Seiner as Lieutenant Hubert Gruber, a German officer who has been relocated after serving on the Eastern Front. He is hinted to be homosexual and appears to have feelings for Rene, although in the series finale, it is revealed that he married Helga after the war. He is also responsible for counterfeiting certain artworks. One of his initial television appearances was in a 1979 episode of Secret Army, the show that Allo Allo parodied. The episode, titled A Safe Place, featured Seiner portraying a German intelligence officer. In 1980, Seiner played director Max Sennett in The Biograph Girl, a short-lived musical in London's West End centered on the silent film era. Originally slated to voice the villain Man Ray in the SpongeBob SquarePants Season 2 episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3, Seiner was eventually replaced by John Rhys Davies. In 2006, Seiner starred in 2 films written and directed by David Roden, Beginner's Please and The Resurrectionist. From June to July 2007, he revisited his role as Lieutenant Gruber in the stage adaptation of Allo Allo at 12th Night Theatre in Brisbane, alongside Gordon Kay and Sue Hodge, reprising their original characters of Rene Artois and Mimi LeBlanc. Following the conclusion of Allo Allo in 1992, Seiner relocated to Los Angeles. He later returned to England and settled in Chesham, where he was reportedly engaged to a local actress in 2004. Richard Gibson as Herr Otto Flick, the Gestapo officer from the local area who endeavors to display minimal emotion. He wears a lengthy leather double-breasted coat over a striped suit, along with a broad-brimmed leather hat, leather gloves, and octagonal steel-rimmed spectacles. He portrayed Sunning in the 1971 BBC One TV series Tom Brown's School Days. His noteworthy debut in film came in 1971's The Go-Between, where he depicted Marcus Maudsley, the school companion of Leo Colston, Dominic Guard, tasked with relaying messages between Julie Christie and Alan Bates. Additionally, he portrayed the young Tony Farrant in the 1973 cinematic adaptation of England Made Me. In 2014, they participated as guest artists at the Malfest Arts Festival in Malpas, Cheshire, and made appearances at the War and Peace Show held at the Hop Farm in Kent. In the same year, Gibson joined other members of the Allo Allo cast at the Sofia International Film Festival. Gibson also engages in work as a radio performer, scriptwriter, and voice actor. He has recounted that during his time as a chorister, he attended Sir Winston Churchill's funeral service in 1965 and received $2.10s for his contributions on the day. Kim Hartman as Private Helga Gearhart, the Colonel's secretary and Herr Flick's romantic partner. She possesses a robust physique and is notorious for disrobing under flimsy pretexts, showcasing an extensive collection of lingerie. Her theatrical repertoire encompasses various productions, such as Allo Allo in the West End, My Mother Said I Never Should as Margaret, Stepping Out as Vera, Steaming as Josie in New Zealand, Double Double as Philippa James, Relatively Speaking as Sheila, Don't Dress for Dinner as Jacqueline in the West End, Mum's the Word as Allison, Dry Rot as Doris Wagstaff, Sitting Pretty as Bridget, Hay Fever as Judith Bliss, and My Fat Friend as Vicky. Her radio performances include Lord Skye, Mary Yellen in Jamaica Inn, Daisy Chain, an audio drama based on Sapphire and Steel, and the audiobook titled The Worst Street in London. Hartman hosted a travel show titled Cruising to the Northern Lights, broadcast on the Travel Channel, UK. In June 2023, she made an appearance in an episode of the BBC soap opera Doctors portraying the character Bernadette Hilsum, Arthur Bostrom as Officer Crabtree, a British intelligence agent disguised as a French policeman. Unfortunately, his grasp of the French language is feeble, often resulting in incorrect vowel sounds and rendering him nearly incomprehensible, notably seen in his signature greeting, "Good moaning." Despite this linguistic handicap, the German authorities never seemed to harbor any suspicions toward him. In 2005, Bostrom made a guest appearance in Dead Man Walking, an audio drama adaptation of the TV series Sapphire and Steel. From December 2007 to January 2008, he extended his involvement in pantomime by portraying one of the ugly stepsisters in a production of Cinderella in Middlesbrough. On 8th January 2008, he featured on an episode of Big Brother's Big Mouth on E4, discussing happenings within the house in the familiar persona of Officer Crabtree. In November 2012, Bostrom took on a role in Hubert as a newspaper editor. In 2017, he made an appearance in the BBC series Father Brown as Richie Queenan in episode 5.12, The Theatre of the Invisible. Additionally, in 2017, he participated in a celebrity edition of Pointless. In October 2018, he revisited his portrayal from Allo Allo in the book Good Morning France. Officer Crabtree's Franche Froze Burke, aimed at teaching others how to speak in a French accent. Kirsten Cook as Michelle Dubois, leader of the local French Charles de Gaulle, the one with the big Outer resistance. She devises intricate schemes to aid British airmen in their escape and to sabotage German ammunition trains and trucks. Whenever she formulates a plan, she gathers everyone around and issues her instructions. Listen very carefully. I shall say this only once, followed by the crucial details. Prior to this, Cook occasionally participated as part of the ensemble of comedic actors featured in Dave Allen's sketches across various BBC series. She also had roles in several episodes of the BBC children's comedy show Chucklevision. Her television repertoire includes appearances in Woolcott, Rings on Their Fingers, The Dawson Watch, The Upper Hand, and Down to Earth. Additionally, she served as a panelist on Blankety Blank in 1984. Sue Hodge as Mimi LeBlanc. The substitute waitress for Maria, she is also petite in stature. A member of the resistance with a fierce hatred for the Germans, she harbors a secret mission to eliminate the German swines, often after seducing them. Her location on her card is straight up the stairs, first on the left past the linen cupboard. She also has a bit of an affection for Rene. She reprised her role as Mimi in the return of Allo Allo in 2007. From June to July 2007, she once again took on the role of Mimi in the stage production Allo Allo, starring alongside Gordon Kaye as Rene Artois and Guy Senior as Lieutenant Hubert Gruber at Twelfth Night Theatre in Brisbane, Australia. Other characters were portrayed by various renowned Australian actors, including Stephen Tandy, Chloe Dallimore, Jason Gann, and Tony Alcock, alongside Katie Manning. Hodge made a return to British television screens in 2009, playing Connie in the BBC Three sitcom The Lads Club. In 2016, Sue starred as Nurse Mimi in the Haverhill Arts Centre production of the pantomime Robin Hood. Sue embarks on tours with her one-woman show Mimi and Me, Allo Again, and has authored her inaugural book, Mimi's Memoirs, both delving into Sue's experiences in front of the camera and behind the scenes of Allo Allo, Rose Hill as Madame Fanny, Edith's mother. She resides in an upper room above the cafe, dressed in white nightgowns and a frilled cap. This is also the hiding place for the British airmen and the radio. When she seeks attention, she taps her cane on the floor and exclaims, "Will nobody heed the pleas of an elderly woman?" Her career commenced as a soprano in 1939, performing at the Sadler's Wells Opera, later English National Opera, in London, portraying roles such as Despina in Mozart's opera Così fan tutte. At the Glyndebourne Festival, she took on the role of Barbarina in Mozart's The Marriage of Figaro. In 1948, she portrayed Lucy in the premiere of Benjamin Britten's adaptation of The Beggar's Opera. She also portrayed Stanley Holloway's spouse in the 1968 comedic series Thingamy-Bob and made a brief appearance in the Dad's Army episode Uninvited Guests, portraying an elderly ARP warden named Mrs. Cole. Her cinematic roles included appearances in A Shot in the Dark, 1964, Every Home Should Have One, 1970, Tiffany Jones, 1973, and House of Whipcord, 1974. Flanders and Swan composed a song for Rose Hill titled A Word on My Ear. She spent her last days at Denville Hall, a retirement residence for performers, until her passing in 2003. Her fellow Allo Allo colleague Carmen Silvera also resided there. John D. Collins as Flying Officer Fairfax. British aviators attempting to return to the United Kingdom after their aircraft was shot down. Collins received the Ivor Novello and Robert Donat scholarships to attend RADA. Following graduation, he managed the Summer Theatre in Frinton-on-Sea, Essex, for 3 years before joining the inaugural season of the Nottingham Playhouse. During his early career, he starred in several films, including the Hammer film Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, 1968, the cinematic adaptations of Till Death Us Do Part, 1969, and Dad's Army, 1971, The Adventures of Barry Mackenzie, 1972, The Ghoul, 1975, and The Boys in Blue, 1982, in addition to numerous appearances on Granada television. While portraying a clergyman in Coronation Street, he unsuccessfully officiated Albert Tatlock's wedding. Collins has performed in numerous pantomimes, portraying characters like Ebenezer and an unattractive stepsister in Cinderella. He has lent his voice to narrate The Snowman, Carnival of the Animals, Peter and the Wolf, and William Walton's Facade. He has also recorded a CD featuring Shakespearean works with the Gesualdo Consort. Recently, he voiced the role of God in Benjamin Britten's Noise Flewed, and has regularly portrayed Henry VIII at banquets held in the Old Palace at Hatfield House. Collins made 2 guest appearances on the British BBC sitcom Only Fools and Horses, first in the episode Ashes to Ashes as a river patrol officer informing Dell and Rodney about the need for river permission to scatter ashes into a river, St. Catherine Docks. He later appeared in the episode Sleeping Dogs Lie as the veterinarian. Collins has also featured in BBC children's programming, including Chucklevision, portraying a flight instructor in the 1996 episode Dear Diary. Vicky Michelle as Yvette Carte Blanche, head waitress at the cafe and Rene's lover. She is deeply enamored with Rene, longing to escape with him to Geneva, Switzerland, but their plans are thwarted because Rene must remain with his spouse. She also takes care of entertaining the German officers upstairs at the cafe, often using wet celery and a pilot's helmet, occasionally employing an egg beater for added effect. Michelle began receiving minor television roles while still attending drama school, with her first appearance being in Dixon of Doc Green. Subsequently, she made an uncredited cameo as a dancer at a party in The Haunted House of Horror, 1969, and performed in the play Play It Again, Sam, alongside Dudley Moore in the West End from 1969 to 1970. Michelle is wedded to Graham Fowler, a cinematographer, whom she wedded in 1974. The couple shares a daughter named Louise, born in 1989, who is also an actress recognized as Louise Michelle. In September 2015, Michelle appeared as a guest on Big Brother's Bit on the Side and faced the possibility of vision loss after being struck on the back of her head with a champagne glass thrown during a skirmish between Farrah Abraham and Aislinn Horgan-Wallace. The altercation led to an early termination of the show and prompted a police inquiry. Michelle suffered injuries requiring hospitalization, including whiplash, concussion, and balance impairment. She later pursued legal action. That's what happened to the cast of Allo Allo after 42 years. From their memorable roles on screen to their diverse endeavors off-screen, the cast members have left an indelible mark on our hearts. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more nostalgic content like this. And remember, as we celebrate the past, let's also look forward to the future.